because the green and the red colors were offensive to non-Christians. So I fought the war on Christmas, and we won. And that was, like you said, hot off the tails of saving nude beaches. That was, I used to go to Martha's Vineyard, Dennis, every year during the Obama presidency because he would vacation there. So Bill would send me, all expenses paid, thank you, Fox, to the vineyard for a couple days, and I would go and just kind of harass local liberals and annoy them on the beach. So one time Bill told me to check out John Belushi's graveyard, because Bill was a Belushi fan, and I went to the graveyard, found the gravestone, and there was a guy smoking a blunt right there, honoring Belushi. And I asked him, what's going on around here? He said, there's a nude beach right around the corner. It's an old Indian reservation. So I wandered down, followed my instincts to this nude beach down the bluff in Aquinnah. And was just, everyone was hanging out, buck naked. I asked them about, the Iranian nuke program. So those are the types of things that I did, and those are the adventures that I had. And by doing so, Dennis, I really learned, because of after observing liberals in the wild, the species is a fascinating species. They have deep-seated insecurities and then use these insecurities to project their anxiety on the rest of the country, their guilt, their shame, and they do that to control us and to stay relevant. And that's why we are in the mess we're in today.
We're in a big mess today. I'm going to ask you a question that I have wrestled with all of my adult life, and that is, what animates a leftist? So, for example, 5 years ago, had you said to any leftist, what should be done to a man who exposes himself to girls and women in their spa? You would say they would all say he should be arrested. Today, if you protest someone doing that, you should be arrested. It is a complete inversion of reality within a couple of years. How do you explain that?
Well, you know better than anybody what makes liberals tick, and that's why we have you on Waters World, and we always love you when you come on. But I think it's a psychological situation, and it doesn't afflict all liberals, but just generally most of them, the activists and the politicians in Washington. They are insecure people. They have insecurities about their own lives. They feel inadequate, and they feel guilt. Guilt at the success of this country that they had nothing to do with. Guilt over the fact that capitalism and free enterprise and the great American dream has contributed to so much success and bounty and freedom in this great land and all over the world that they had nothing to do with because they weren't in control of it. And they are not in control of their own lives. Their lives lack meaning. And so in order to control things, they have to make the country evil. If the country was founded on slavery and inequality, then the country needs to be fixed. The entire system is corrupted, and guess who's going to have to be put in charge of fixing it and changing it? Liberals. So it is a deep-seated need to control and to fix because they can't fix what's inside of themselves. And they project these anxieties on all of us. And when they are not in permanent power, when they, it's so funny. When they lose elections, it's a cataclysmic event. They don't see that the voters have decided to go with someone else. They see this as an earth-shattering and monumental change in life as they know it. And they do anything in their power, legal or illegal, to regain that power. And you saw that with Donald Trump. You've seen that in the media for many, many years. And that's what they're doing with these voting bills, and turning Texas blue with open borders. If they're not in power, then they are worthless. Because the political philosophy of liberals is entirely based on divide and conquer and control. When they're not in control, they see the country as completely lost, completely destroyed, and they need to assert themselves in every way possible. So it starts in themselves, and this is what the title is about. It's a modest title, as you know, very modest. I actually saved myself, Dennis. I got to a place in my life where I was comfortable with my career. I got remarried. I was happy. I had a new situation, found balance in my life, and I was able to save myself, and as you know, it is my world. So I did save my world. But the Democrats have a savior complex. They are constantly trying to save other people, black Americans, young Americans, immigrants, save everybody, save capitalism, save everybody. But it's actually themselves. You know the expression, keep your own house in order before you go around pointing your fingers at everybody else. That's their problem. So if they would just look inside themselves and figure out what's going on in their lives that lack meaning, I think the world would be a better place.
Well, I'm glad I asked you the question. You obviously thought it through. I completely concur with the meaning issue. The human being, I told this so often to my audience, I almost feel like apologizing, but the human being's greatest need after food, even above sex, is meaning.
Yes.
And the lack of belief in anything, no longer any Judeo-Christian religions, and no longer in America. They have had to develop new things to believe in.
Precisely.
Yeah. So okay.
And I talk about this in the book because you remember civil rights movement, women's rights movement, Vietnam, even going farther back, World War II. There were major and cataclysmic social events that were going on that were creating a struggle in society. There was meaning behind those movements. There was struggle there. The Cold War, that was an ideological battle that gave people's lives meaning. We have it too easy now. We're in a post-Cold World War.
Right.
There's racial equality pretty much. There's gender equality pretty much. Everything's on your phone. You can order pizza. You can order dates. Life is good. Life is comfortable. There are no threats. So they need to create struggle in their lives to feel relevant.
Good. Hold on that. I'm going to carry you over. Jesse Waters, How I Saved the World. The book is up at my website.